Next chaupai. चारों जुग प्रताप तुम्हारा, हे प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा. Your brilliance and glory or radiance is acclaimed all through the 4 ages, and your radiance illuminates the whole creation. Going by the literary meaning of this verse, the largest unit of time in Hindi literature is a day of Brahma. It is called a kalpa and is 432 billion years. This kalpa includes 1000 Mahayugas. Each Mahayuga consists of 4 yugas, Charo Yuga, Krita or Satya. In this yuga, Lord appears as Varaha to kill Hiranyaksha and as Narasimha to kill Hiranyakashipu. Treta Yuga, Lord incarnates as Sri Rama and ends Ravana and Kumbhakarna. Next, Dwapara, Lord appears as Sri Krishna. Next, Kali, Lord is to be incarnating as Kalki. For Sai devotees, Lord has incarnated as Shirdi and Parthi Sai, while we await Prema Sai Darshan. The 4 yugas make up a Mahayuga. 1000 Mahayugas is equal to 1 Kalpa, 1 day of Lord Brahma. Both Sri Rama and Sri Hanuman are eternal, and the glory of their names are supreme in all the 4 yugas. Sri Hanuman was there in the Treta Yuga in the service of the Lord. In Dwapara Yuga, he meets Bhima, and later he positioned himself in the flag of Arjuna, roaring during the great Mahabharata war. Goswami Tulasidas ji himself in the Kali Yuga met Sri Hanuman ji in Varanasi, and later the Sankatamochan temple was built on the very site. It should be remembered that the 4 yugas follow each other in a cycle, and so Hanumanji's glory will be remembered in all ages. Hanuman is one of the 7 Chiranjeevis. He is immortal. So he was there, and he would be there in all the 4 yugas and continue to enliven our lives, our very existence, even now, each day. Tulasidas ji further writes that how is the fame of Hanuman? Prasiddha Jagat Ujiyara. The virtues of Hanuman ji. The virtue as a result of which harmony arose in the universe, from which the whole world became illumined. It is all about the glory of the Lord. This is as far as the direct exposition of this verse, that is with respect to glory of Hanumanji. We will go through few interpretations given by Brother Sundar, and then we will dive deep. Brother Sundar says, for yuga, in a human life, we go through 4 yuga. He equates these 4 yugas with 4 ashramas of a human being, from brahmacharya ashrama to sannyasa ashrama. And he says, in all the 4 ashramas, Hanuman, since he has the yoga background, he connects Hanuman in almost all the talks to Vayuputra. So, breathe. So he says, as prana, as we may say as prana sakha, he is there with us in all the 4 ashramas, spreading his radiance. In another interpretation, he says, talking about the Prasiddha Jagat Ujiyara, brother says, Gurus or avatars. He has talked more about gurus, spiritual gurus. Their energy, their aura is so much that the radiance is felt even when we were not contemporaries to those gurus. As we know, most of the realized masters were there up to 1960s, 70s, 80s. To extend further, being Swami Chinmayananda, who lived in the mortal coil up to 90s. Of course, we have Amma, of course, very, very few even now. But the galaxy of the masters were up to that 1970s. But their aura or their radiance is such that even when we see Swami Shivananda Maharaj teaching yoga to his disciples, or playing veena and singing a bhajan song, or just walking along the Rishikesh streets, the radiance or the aura is felt even while watching the master on a TV. Such is their radiance. Prasiddha Jagat Ujiyara. It illumines the whole world or the whole creation. Let's get deeper into this one aspect of illumination. Illumining this world, this creation, means enveloping this creation with consciousness, pure awareness, so that the creation and the creatures within the creation are also aware. Any knowledge comes to them with consciousness spreading or illumining itself as pure awareness in this creation. As he poured in the last Samarpan Bhajan talk, if Brahman existed only as a Satyam or Sat or existence, and that existence is infinite, Anantam, even then, how would the creation be aware? How any created being in this creation would be sentient? He, God or Ishvara or Brahman or Chit consciousness spread its radiance, Pratap, so that the universe shined in its illumined consciousness, Jagat Ujiyara. Do we not hear Brother Ravi Kumar beautifully taking up that alap before the song Rama Hare Hare Ram Bolo, where he says, Ik Noor Te Sam Jag Upajiyara. Swami Chinmayananda says, the Atman is self-effulgent, whereas the mind is inert matter. Without the power of illumination in consciousness, the mind would be inert and powerless to feel. For without this awareness within, we will not be conscious of our own thoughts. Each thought is considered as a wave-like disturbance in the mental pool. Chinmaya continues. When these waves of thoughts arise in us, they are illumined by awareness. Then we cry, I know, I understand, I feel, and so on. The sun arises, and then the waves of the sea are seen and experienced. The sunlight falls on all surfaces equally. Like a silken veil, it lies on every surface, and when the waves rise, the light veil yields, embracing the waves on all sides and illumining them. So too, in our inner heart, the light of consciousness illumines the height, depth, and breadth of each thought. Unquote. This illumining consciousness and the illumined universe has been dealt in various themes in the blog, particularly in Atma Bodha and maybe even in Dakshinamurti Stotra. Definitely in the Dridrishya Viveka, very elaborately in the YouTube satsangs. Panchadashi, chapter 8 is all about this light of consciousness. The title of the chapter itself is Kutastha Deepa, the lamp of immutable consciousness. Let us look into it very, very briefly. The body is illumined by twofold consciousness in the same manner as a wall, for example, can be illumined by two types of light. Just as a wall can be lighted up directly by the sun, as well as by the reflection of the sun through mirror, and we can observe the natural sunlight on the wall existing in the middle of the different patches of the reflected light. You have to imagine. So also we can observe the natural consciousness of Atman between different thoughts and feelings in the short span of time when one thought subsides and another thought has not yet arisen. An object is known by the mind with the assistance of Chidabhasa Chaitanya, reflected consciousness. And it is by this that we know there is such a thing as an object or a form. But the consciousness behind the I, which is at the background of even the object consciousness, is Brahma Chaitanya, absolute consciousness, designated here as Kutastha. Kutastha is referred in Bhagavad Gita also. Internal self. Let us look into few differences between Chidabhasa Chaitanya and Kutastha Chaitanya. Reflected consciousness and absolute consciousness. Chidabhasa Chaitanya is Vyavaharika Satyam, that is experienced in the Jagrat and Swapna Avastha, waking state and dream state. Absolute consciousness is Paramarthika Satyam, real nature. It continues even in deep sleep when the mind is not there, intellect is not there, senses are not operative. Reflected consciousness is Mithya, utilized for worldly transactions. Absolute consciousness is Sakshi, Brahman, Nitya Mukta Swarupa. Reflected consciousness is incidental. Absolute consciousness is intrinsic. Reflected consciousness is identifying with samsara. Absolute consciousness is identifying with freedom. Sakshi. We covered this in the Dridrishya Viveka as reflected consciousness, and then at the end we also elaborated on the absolute, which Acharya gave you as the source of source, absolute consciousness. So even the reflected consciousness, the bodham or the awareness of awareness is the reflected consciousness, even that has to be transcended to go and exist as absolute consciousness, Brahman, Kutastha. है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा. We can keep referring to various texts, various Vedanta treatises for speaking on this illumining the creation aspect of Brahman. Instead, let us start from our own existence in the peak of our meditation or nididhyasana. Or if we have not experienced, our own experience of witnessing our own gurus in their absolute samadhi state. When one exists in samadhi and then opens his eyes, then with what apparatus or with what faculty or with what power or with what energy or with what light one sees this creation. with what power one acts in the creation. It is not the mind, it is not the intellect. Mano buddhi ahankara chittani naham. Having opened eyes from the samadhi state, continuing to be in the same state of existence, it is the chit of the Chidananda Rupa, the pure awareness which illumines the existence within, that is, it illumines the intellect, mind, senses, as well as the creation outside. Through the mind. A perverted intellect may sometimes argue that it is the prana, life force, which enlivens mind, intellect, etc., and where this Atman has a role to play. The answer is, can prana bestow awareness on mind and senses? Prana can activate the mind and the senses, but from where the feeling comes in the mind, from where the awareness comes from in the mind. Prana can never ever bestow awareness on the mind, intellects, mind and senses. It is the pure awareness which enlivens the prana, and it being the great grandfather, and in the lineage comes the prana, and then the prana activates the intellect, mind, senses. The original power, Chit Shakti, is of that great grandfather, Kutastha Chaitanya. If this is true for my own existence as pure awareness, consciousness, it is easy for me to expand that existence to universal consciousness. Call it Brahma or Ishvara or God, the pure awareness Chit, which illumines the entire creation at the cosmic level. Kathopanishad says, Na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam nema vidyuto bhanti kutho yamagni tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam tasya bhasa sarvam idam vibhati. There means in the infinite, non-dual pure consciousness, the sun does not illumine, nor the moon and the stars, nor do these lightnings illumines there. Very much less this fire. When that shines, everything shines after that. By its light, all this manifested universe is lighted. Saturday morning, he walks a long way in Kuram beach, and then he sits. Usually he doesn't sit. Today he had to sit, because this had to emerge. Everything is willed by Bhagavan. It had to happen today because this talk had to come to this beautiful culmination. The state there, within seconds, undoubtedly pure awareness. Because the mind is not there, intellect is not there, senses is not there, body sensation is not there, creation is not there, he is not there, nothing is there, but something is there. What is that? Pure awareness. Even if he could note down few words, few expressions further to that, otherwise he should have stayed as that and should have walked back to the residence. Further expressions which are emerging, which emerged in the morning and he quickly noted down, it is all for few mumukshu sadhakas. Me, the pure awareness, is gracefully lending myself, the pure awareness, to the mind which this body has, subtle body has, is gracefully lending myself to the intellect which is coming along with this body and the senses. And perhaps maybe to all the work which this body would undertake upon reaching home. Now when my sadhakas would hear this expression illumining, immediately sunshine might come to their mind. Here, the illumining experienced in the beach or expressed by Chinmaya is not the literal lighting, illumining me and the creation for me. Here, me, the pure awareness, suppose is the sun. My lending myself to my intellect, to my mind senses, this lending is in subtler expression, me, the pure awareness, gracing and illumining the body, mind, intellect, which, or more precisely the mind, intellect, senses which comes along with this body. Suppose I had continued to exist in the same state, then there would be no need for me, the pure awareness, to lend myself to my intellect and my mind. Therefore, the mind intellect would not be experienced. Oh, yes, this is precisely what is expressed in Vedanta is as transcending the BMI. It does not stop there. When my BMI is not experienced, me existing as pure chit without even the will to grace the intellect, mind, senses with me, the pure chit, then who is there in me to witness the creation, and therefore where is the creation for me? So neither my BMI is there, nor the cosmic BMI is there. No creation is there, no universe is there. I continue to exist at that state. And that existence is effortlessly, thoughtlessly extended, expanded to cosmic existence, consciousness. At cosmic level, what this illumining means? Me, the pure awareness, at absolute level, Kutastha, do not go about creating awareness, illumining each and every non-living objects. There is no direct association with me and the objects which the absolute consciousness is supposedly illumining as per Vedanta texts. So what I do as cosmic consciousness, as absolute consciousness, I grace my awareness plus my Shakti to only 5 aspects, 5 elements. Afterwards, I am not associated with the further evolution. I hold a relationless relation with the creation supposedly created by me. I have just graced my energy, my power, my Chit awareness plus Shakti, because the matter creation has to come to create 5 elements, and then the 5 elements along with the Shakti take care of the evolution further. That is the way at absolute level, me, the absolute consciousness, illumine this creation. Now, sadhakas, you yourself correlate the Kathopanishad verse with all the expressionless expression of how I did lend me, the pure awareness, to the intellect mind this body has, as well as more important with respect to the Kathopanishad verse, even you can leave alone the individual lending, you go to the cosmic, where I, the absolute consciousness, I lend me, the pure awareness, the awareness plus Shakti to 5 elements. And how? And then in the lineage, since every object is created by the combination of 5 elements, therefore by inference, retracing back to the process of creation, when we come to the origin, it is said that the God has created this creation, or a Brahman created this creation. On this flows from where? चारों जुग प्रताप तुम्हारा है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा. My dear ones, 50 years of study of Vedanta, study of Panchadashi on illumining consciousness on one hand, and one subjective inward experience on the other. Only the subjective experience can illumine with retrospective effect the back all the 50 years, and then moving forward all the further readings or all the further Shravana Maranam of all the Vedanta. That one experience of existence as pure awareness. That would illumine, how it would illumine the lending process has been elaborated. How this emerged, why he had to sit today after 6 kilometers of walking, which never happens usually. How it emerged, how it could be given some expressions. It is all my masters, my Sadguru, my Sai's grace. And for whom? For the sadhakas. Why? Because few of you have been brought to Acharya by him and him alone. Jai Shri Ram. बजरंग बली की जय. जय साई राम.